Live, brought to you by Talking Rocks Cavern. Explore the beauty above and below ground at Talking Rocks Cavern. The Springfield Greene County Park Board reminding you to go play, and Roto-Rooter Plumbing and Drain Service. Call Southwest Missouri's best plumber today for a free estimate. Here are your hosts, Ethan and Sarah Forhetz.
Hey, good morning to you. We made it to another Monday, and it's another weather Monday, so make sure you check the forecast. Abby Dyer's wake-up weather is coming up here in a little bit. There's freezing rain and maybe icy roads, so heads up yet again as we start another week.
Be careful. Here's a look at the news. A Springfield student was severely assaulted at school last week, and now 3 students are in big trouble with the law, the juvenile court system. They wound up arrested at Hickory Hills Middle School, then held in custody after the incident. Both the law and the school is disciplining the attackers. We know 2 of those arrested were 14 years old. Not sure the age of the other person, who is a minor. They've been charged with second-degree assault, which is a felony. 55 dogs were rescued and 20 other animals lost their lives in this extreme cold weather on the same property in Stone County. The surviving animals were taken to the Humane Society in St. Louis to be treated. A concerned citizen called cops and found that the animals there had no food, no water, no shelter, all of them outside, chained to a fence or in a pen in this extremely cold weather. Deputies say that the temperatures were in the teens. The homeowner there was arrested.
Meanwhile, we're awaiting a ruling from a Greene County judge on a proposed development we've been talking about for a long time now at the corner of Sunshine and National. Some residents of University Heights are suing to stop the developers from moving forward with that development. It's been litigated for more than a year now. It was just in court, arguments in court late last week, about whether deed restrictions in the neighborhood from 1925 would prevent the development from moving forward. A ruling will likely come in the next 3 to 4 weeks. If successful in court and with the Springfield City Council, the developer's latest plans would call for a food hall, a food court with 12 vendors, 1 outdoor and 4 indoor pickleball courts, as well as an indoor playground. They've changed up a couple of times now what they plan to do there, what they'd like to do there, trying to get the blessing of the neighborhood, people in the neighborhood. So far, that has not come. So we await a judge's ruling on the case. We'll let you know when that happens. And then it appears Brett Dawn is the man for the job in El Dorado Springs. The city just hired him as the new police chief. That after the last police chief or the last police officer on the force suddenly resigned. Dawn has a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and a master's degree in executive leadership, and now he is in charge of the police department in El Dorado Springs.
Sounds like a good combination for a leader of a police force, so that's exciting. Meanwhile, the Springfield Greene County Park Board has a new interim director as they are looking for a permanent one. Longtime employee Jim Fisher will lead for now with some 40 years experience with parks. This as Bob Belote, who many people know, retires soon and very soon. Well, 2 Springfieldians are making their mark in the business world. They've already made their mark. That's why they are in this next story, because they are being honored for such. This is why the Missouri Association of Manufacturers is recognizing them in the new Missouri Manufacturers Hall of Fame. It's a new Hall of Fame. So they're a couple of the first 5 honorees. The honor recognizes both people and businesses that have had a significant contribution to the state's manufacturing sector. And maybe you could guess, Jack Stack. He is the CEO of SRC Holdings Corporation, and Cookie Rice, Emeritus CEO of Ozarks Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper Bottling Company. Congratulations to both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations to Chiefs fans, because the Chiefs are still alive in the NFL playoffs. They beat the Buffalo Bills last night in Buffalo in really what was an exciting game. A lot of action back and forth. Maybe exciting isn't the right word to call it for a Chiefs fan. Nail biting,
stressful,
all of that.
It was a bit of stress and sweat.
It was stressful at times, and for Bills fans too, because there were lots of opportunities for both teams to kind of go ahead. Buffalo missed that field goal with less than 2 minutes left. That would have tied the game to give the Chiefs the win. The Chiefs will play at Baltimore next Sunday for the AFC Championship game, and it is another road game for the Chiefs. They don't play many of those in their tenure as a dominating force in the NFL. But they'll be in Baltimore next week, and the winner will go to the Super Bowl. So we got another Sunday of rooting on the Chiefs.
That's exciting. The Ozarks Lunkers continue to add players to their Arena League football team. Not quite the Chiefs, but hey, we're getting one here. It's exciting. Tobias Little is now on the roster. He's a former Missouri State University football player and current Glendale football coach. He also played at the University of Louisiana for a while. 2 years ago, he led the Missouri Valley Football Conference in rushing touchdowns. So exciting to see that team come together.
Yeah, I think it's great to have local connections to the team because that brings out the fan base, and people have the fans just have more of a connection with people who are local. So good for the Lunkers. Former St. Louis Cardinals favorite Matt Carpenter. You know him from the Aaron Sachs commercials. If you're not a baseball fan, he is coming back to the Redbirds to close out his career. 38-year-old was drafted by the Cardinals back in 2009 when he was not 38. Now he's 38. He played for the Cardinals from 2011 to 2021, making the All-Star team 3 times. Since then, he's been a Yankee and had really an incredible time as a Yankee, hitting home runs left and right. Really a resurgence. Then that kind of dropped off a little bit. Now he's back as a Cardinal, and it'll be neat to have him back on the team, offering advice, and hopefully going through another, the opposite of a slump, getting hot again.
Yeah.
And hitting some home runs in what will probably be his final year. And then there's this. In his first year of retirement from baseball, former St. Louis Cardinals ace Adam Wainwright will be talking baseball for a living. He's good at that. If you've ever seen him or heard him, he's good at talking baseball. He's very entertaining. He just signed a multi-year deal with Fox Sports for Waino to do color commentary on baseball broadcasts, national games. Waino says he hopes his experience on the field will allow him to share his knowledge with fans in a unique way and bring fans closer to the game. So that'll be good. Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for the Cardinals. It's always good to have a former Cardinal on the national scene, Yeah.
Yeah. I have a former high school classmate who talks football because he went on to the NFL, and it's kind of fun to feel like you have a connection. So that's neat.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Jeopardy contestants are typically pretty smart, holding knowledge in a number of different areas, but not apparently when it comes to the topic of the St. Louis Cardinals. 3 contestants on the show were stumped recently on the TV quiz show. One of the categories was Meet Me in St. Louis, and the answer to one of those questions was Major League Baseball's St. Louis Cardinals play their home games in this Sudsy Arena.
Oh, Sudsy. Got it.
Okay, so there's your clue. Wrong guesses were that it was a Budweiser Stadium and Anheuser Stadium. No one actually got Busch Stadium, which is what the stadium is called. And the year before, also on Jeopardy, none of the contestants knew that Lou Brock and Ozzie Smith were Cardinals Hall of Famers.
There's absolutely no way that I would have known that either if I did not live in this area. But the Busch Stadium, I'm a little surprised that they didn't get that, because I feel like you hear that even as a general, leisurely sports person.
Well, these people are smart. They're supposed to have a lot of knowledge of a lot of different things. So
and they do.
That,
they do.
No.
They do.
Well, I would beat them at Jeopardy. I think that's clear.
You do often win Jeopardy at work. It's true.
No, I only get if it's 80s music, everybody, because we play Jeopardy. Sometimes I'm in there for it. Once a day or so, they play that Alexa Jeopardy game where they answer questions, and the whole group gets together and tries to answer the questions. And when it's 80s music, they look at me. They're like, "Hey, old guy, what do you say to this one?"
Yeah, it is so weird how old you are compared to all of them. I know.
Who is Wham?
Yeah. Anyway. All right, now to this. Missouri set a new deer hunting season record. The 23-24 season ended with more than 326,000 deer harvested, surpassing the record that was set in 2006 by more than 550 deer. That's a lot. It also was the first time in a decade that hunters harvested more does than antlered bucks. For what it's worth, Franklin, Howell, and Texas counties saw the most deer taken.
Okay.
Yep. There you go.
Rural
no surprises
areas,
there
sense.
with those counties, right? Franklin, Howell, and Texas. You should have known. All right. Former Branson mainstay Tony Orlando has played his final shows in Las Vegas. He performed Saturday and Sunday nights at the South Point Casino in Las Vegas. He last performed in Branson in 2021. Tony Orlando, believe it or not, is 79 years old. He has 6 more shows in cities across the country before he hangs up his microphone for good. His song, Tie a Yellow Ribbon, went to number 1 in 1973.
Yes, it did. What a great song. I remember growing up listening to Tony Orlando and Dawn, and he spent a lot of time in Branson, in Las Vegas quite a bit. He's been at that South Point Casino, which is on the Las Vegas Strip, but it's a couple of miles to the south of what you know as the Las Vegas Strip. So it's Las Vegas Boulevard.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I looked at his upcoming dates, and none of those are in Branson. So I don't know if he may never come back to Branson. I'm not sure if he's truly retiring.
Yeah. 79 years old. I mean, shoot. If he can do it, I'd do it.
He had a great career.
I would actually retire today if I could, because there's lots of things that I would do with my time. Yep.
All right.
True story. You only need like $1 million to retire.
Yeah.
No big deal.
All right. Hey, we want to let you know there are lots of easy ways you can stay connected with all the podcasts on Around the Ozarks. We offer a lot of content, so just pull up the Around the Ozarks app. We have an app for your smartphone. With that, you'll have the audio versions of every podcast all right there at your fingertips whenever you want it. We'll have Around the Ozarks in 5. That's Sarah and me. Wake Up Weather with Abby Dyer. Rewind with Woody and Janet, which is fun. Sports Scene with Scott Purrier. Ned Talk with our friend Ned Reynolds, and more. There's lots of good stuff on there. So that's the place to go, the Around the Ozarks app on your smartphone. We'll make it easy for you.
Right. And if you like the video version, we have that too. You can now see that on the app. So if you like the video version of this, Around the Ozarks in 5 or Wake Up Weather, they are accessible on that app. Just click on the big logo on the scroll at the very top of the app. And then you can either just listen to the audio or watch the video. We also know that Facebook or social media, sometimes it can be actually hard to find the latest episode. It is not hard on the app. It will be very obvious in date order. So just go to the App Store and search for Around the Ozarks. Free download. There you go.
There you go. We got a lot of good stuff on there. We're growing the platform all the time. So
I know. And for sure, you need to watch Abby this morning. I mean, every morning, to be honest with you, because we're just pretend meteorologists. She's an actual one. But today it matters. So
today it matters is right.
Yes.
So be careful out there and have yourself a fantastic Monday. And we'll see you back here on Tuesday.
Bye-bye. Thank you for watching.
It's time for Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather, sponsored by Scooters Coffee and Rescue Towing. Here's your host, meteorologist Abby Dyer.
Good morning, everybody. I'm meteorologist Abby Dyer. It is Monday, January 22nd. And if you're waking up, getting ready for the day, about to head out the door, if you can, just crawl back in bed. It is not nice out there. We've had freezing rain on the radar since the overnight hours, a winter weather advisory in place, and all sorts of trouble on the roads out there already. Freezing rain, a mess. Really just a rude way to start on Monday. This is not the way you want to start the new work week, but that's what we are dealt today. We have a slick forecast for the first part of the day. I have good news though, and it's that the evening commute should actually be much better than the morning commute because temperatures as we go through the course of the day will warm up. We are starting the day in the 20s. In most communities, we're in the upper 20s, about 27 degrees as of 5 a.m., and we'll warm to about 37 degrees this afternoon. Problem is, it just takes some time to do so. And as we have active rainfall coming down, it was so cold in the Ozarks over the weekend. The ground is frozen solid. Our temperature right now is frozen solid. So what's falling out of the clouds is rain. Problem is, it's getting down here to the surface. It's hitting our very cold ground and everything is just freezing up on contact. So we have some very slick conditions developing already. It takes just a trace amount of freezing rain to cause issues. And we have a whole lot more than that coming down in some places. In fact, 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch for a widespread region expected in the Ozarks early today. We will see improvement this afternoon, but it's going to take some time to melt this off as our temperatures warm up and our freezing rain transitions over into just a cold rainfall. Avoid the roads if possible. That's my message for you this morning. And it's not just local here in the Ozarks. We have widespread freezing rain for much of the state. It's widespread for Missouri, for Arkansas, Kansas, Oklahoma, Illinois, a huge portion of the Midwest getting in on these icy conditions today. We also have a winter weather advisory through the day. So school cancellations widespread across the Ozarks again today. It's been a rough 2 weeks for parents. I know it's another day where it is dangerous to be out on the roads this morning. I mentioned that we saw some of that freezing rain start actually overnight and it's accumulating in many places. If you look at a tree branch or something, that's really the best way to tell how much you have. But you can actually see that it's accumulating close to 1/4 of an inch in spots. That's a lot of freezing rain. If you actually absolutely have to get out on the roads, plan way more time than you need. Drive so slow. Do not use cruise control and leave plenty of distance between the car in front of you and yourself. You do not want to mess around with freezing rain and travel. Good news is, I think if you can delay your plans today, you'll be okay by this afternoon because temperatures warm up and we're going to start melting off that layer of ice that we quickly accumulated overnight and will continue to accumulate this morning through the morning drive. It's mid-morning through the lunch hour that we start to see those temperatures warm up above that critical number of 32 degrees. And that's when the melting process can happen. So as temperatures warm through the day, what we'll see on the radar is, number one, our freezing rain transition over into just rainfall, but it's also going to start to melt away that ice layer. So if you're in one of these places north of I-44, by the lunch hour, we really start to see some improvement. It doesn't take much to, melt off 1/10 of an inch of ice. That process can happen pretty quickly. May take a little bit longer in some of our southern counties south of I-44, where some of those ice totals are going to be a little bit higher. If you got 1/4 inch of ice this morning, it's going to take a little bit of time to melt that off. There will likely still be slick areas through the late afternoon and through the evening drive. So there will be some trouble spots even this evening. But I think for our northern counties, we see a whole lot of improvement. Springfield metro area, I am expecting us to get close to the freezing point again by lunch. So by the second half of the day, by evening drive time, I'm expecting conditions to be much better than they are this morning. Widespread rain will then replace this freezing rain, and it looks like a good chance for some widespread showers here too. We do see warmer conditions spread into the region by Tuesday, and I've got temperatures in the 50s again later this week. So this will be a thing of the past as we head closer to later this week. This is the only opportunity for winter weather this week. What's falling on the radar right now, but boy, it's causing a mess out there. And if you check the MoDOT traveler map, widespread issues as we head through the morning, mid-morning, and lunch hour. As we get closer to Wednesday, that's when we see temperatures approach the 50-degree point again. And the temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center for the next 8 to 14 days looks warm, not just for us, but for much of the country. So better news is on the way. We just have to wait for that warmer weather to get back in. I have a high temperature today in Springfield of 37 degrees. I think we get there probably around 4 o'clock this afternoon. We should be above the freezing point or at least right at it by noon. I think the real key today is check the thermometer in your exact location, because as soon as we get above 32, we can start the melting process. We can start to improve things, and the rain will actually help melt some of this off as we head through the second half of your Monday. Primarily a cloudy day on Tuesday, but rain chances return Tuesday night. Rain looks likely on Wednesday, but by then, temps are in the 40s and 50s for overnight lows and afternoon highs, so we shouldn't have an issue with any winter weather for the remainder of the week. We've got high temperatures back in the 50s and a dry day on tap for Thursday. I know we're all looking forward to that, where you don't have to bundle up in all the layers. Really, weather across the country is starting off active as we begin the new work week. We have excessive moisture happening out on the West Coast. There have been headlines over the weekend for the Pacific Northwest, for Northern California, excessive moisture still happening out there. That's all headed toward the Rockies. We also have an icy start for much of the Midwest, and we're included in that here in the Ozarks. We also have much warmer weather, not just for us, but for much of the country. So I think there are a lot of folks across the country excited about that. I expect that as we head into the second half of the day, we see temperatures in the upper 30s. So we will wait for that warmer weather to join us. All right, I will show you the Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather Brain Twister question. This is what I left you with last week. A little bit of knowledge for Portland, Oregon. They made some weather headlines last week with a big snowstorm, and then they had freezing rain. Well, we're getting the freezing rain now, but did you know the answer to this question? The city of Portland, Oregon almost had a different name. The founders settled the name dispute by playing which simple game? The options that I gave you were A, rock, paper, scissors, B, tic-tac-toe, C, a thumb war, or D, a coin toss. If you went to the website and guessed D, a coin toss, you are correct and now entered to win a $20 gift card to Scooters Coffee. Thank you, Scooters. It was decided with a coin toss. The other option for Portland, Oregon was Boston. It could have been Boston, Oregon. Its founders actually decided this over a dinner party. One wanted Portland, the other wanted Boston. Pettygrove and Lovejoy, the founders of what we now know as Portland, Oregon, that the story goes, it was a best 2 out of 3 toss. Whoever won the coin toss got to name the city. Pettygrove's coin landed heads up twice, and thus he won the coin toss and naming rights to the city, and it is now Portland, Oregon, but it was almost Boston, Oregon. All right, here's your question that I'll leave you with for tomorrow. Which of these is likely to freeze first when freezing rain is falling? Do you think it is A, a driveway, B, a bridge, C, a sidewalk, or D, a road? Let me know what you think. Which one of those freezes first when freezing rain begins to fall? If you need to check the forecast, we have you covered up to the minute all day long. Weather information at aroundtheozarks.com. Thank you so much for listening this morning. And hey, I wanted to let you know that you can listen to Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather anywhere that you get your podcast. But one of the best ways and easiest ways to stay connected, not only with Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather, but with all of our fantastic podcasts. We have Around the Ozarks in 5, Rewind with Woody and Janet, Sports Scene with Scott Purrier, Ned Talk with Ned Reynolds, and many more. You can get the podcast with the video versions all on the app. Make sure you download it. Around the Ozarks. It's in the App Store, available everywhere, free to download. You can get the video version too. Just click on the big logo on the scroll at the very top of the app. We know a lot of you watch on Facebook or social media. Sometimes it's hard to find the very latest episode, so the app makes that a lot easier. You can listen there. You can watch the video portion. You can stay up on the Brain Twister trivia questions. So check it out in your phone's App Store. Search Around the Ozarks. Download the app, and of course, check out the website and enter our Brain Twister trivia question to win a chance for $20 to Scooters Coffee. Thank you to our sponsors, Scooters and Rescue Towing. Hope nobody needs them this morning. Slow it down. Stay safe, everybody, and I will chat with you again early tomorrow.